So now the other thing I've done once before, so today's going to be our second time, is I've put a bareback pad on him. And to do it, at first I let him see it. Everything, they should have a chance to see it, smell it, feel it. I then went about petting his shoulder with it. I want it to be his friend. I want to be able to come up high a little bit because you go up to throw a saddle pad or a saddle on, so you don't want that to be scary for him. So I just kind of ran it over his body and then slipped it on. And first time I put it on him, I didn't have the cinch on it, and he was all good until I asked him to walk a step, and then he took off to the back end of the stall, and amazingly the pad stayed on. It did not come off without a cinch. I don't know why, but it did. And it could have, if it came off, that's okay, because he needs to learn if something falls off of him, such as a human, it shouldn't be scary and you shouldn't spook more. But it was also good that it stayed on him because he discovered it didn't go away. Now, he doesn't like being touched under his belly, and he doesn't like me reaching under his belly, and it makes him want to run away. And to figure out ways to train this horse differently than I've trained other horses. So what I've discovered is if I reach all the way down there to grab this cinch, he's out of here. That's terrifying to him. But I can actually grab the cinch with this whip and pull it towards me, and he's okay with that. So there he got in my face again. I gave him one little tug on the chain. I really don't use the chain on him much. So what I'm going to do is try to use the whip to pull the cinch over to me. And eventually I'll get to where I can reach under him, but I need to be as safe as I can be for both of us here, so it doesn't make sense to be sticking myself under. See, he tried to bite right there. He does not like these things under his belly. So now he's got the chain. That's fine. I don't mind him grabbing the chain for now. He has more issues with me reaching under his belly than he does with me cinching him up, which I think is ironic. I thought for sure once I put a cinch on him, which I've only done once before, that he would really have issues with that. Right now the cinch is not even touching him barely, but wanted to start there. He finally quit coming around to try to bite at me. So when he's doing that, by the way, I was literally kind of poking him with knuckles and stuff to discourage him that no, we don't get mouthy. He has not been mouthy, which is nice. When you have a mouthy horse, you just want to discourage it in every way you can and give him no reason to ever be mouthy. Okay, so now the first time I went to walk him with this pad, he really freaked out. But then after that, he was okay. Yeah, that's cinched loose, but I don't think it's going anywhere. So now what we've been doing, we have been learning to walk around the stall nicely. And I've been putting brakes on him so that we know what a hoe is. When I ask him to hoe, I'm going to park myself, but my right foot is the last one to stop. So I do hoe. Now he stays very close to me because that was our initial training, come to me, come to me. Again, I'm going to ask for more space in a little bit, but he's not obnoxious with it, and it's his security blanket right now. I'm his lead mare, and he wants to touch me to know we're okay. So he's leading around lightly. I can turn him in any direction without any pressure on the rope. So we'll do another halt here and see if I can have him over here a little bit more. So I get ready, one, hoe. He shouldn't run into me, but I have my arm out there. What I'll start doing is teaching him if he's leaning on me, then after the halt, we're going to back off a little bit. Back. I literally had no pressure on this chain that time, so that was the lightest back he's done. There was no resistance whatsoever. So that's really good. I'm really happy with that. So we've put a bareback pad on Justin, but not necessarily a saddle. Because he's such a little guy, I got him a Mustang soft saddle, and I'll tell you what, I've been riding my other horse in it. It is the most comfortable saddle I have ever ridden in. So we're going to let him smell it and see it. And then we're going to slide it up onto his back, but first I let it touch him. And he's not sure about it touching him, so we're going to take a little time with that. I'm going to ask him to come back forward. And once again, he is not tied. You do not tie a horse in a stud chain nor to a pipe panel. He's just wrapped around there. So now I'm going to come over this way where he's a little more used to me being here, and I'm going to keep touching him with it until it doesn't seem too scary. Then I'm going to pick up my stirrup and cinch so I can get it up over, oops, well that doesn't help if I smack him. Get it up over this side. I'm going to let him see it again now that that was not so fun. Good boy. And now I'm just going to gently put it up on his back. And he's not sure about it, but he's standing perfectly. The rope is barely wrapped around that pipe, so he could certainly leave if he wanted to. I'm going to test him a little bit by dropping my stirrup down to the other side. That's a very scary thing to do to a horse. So my cinch, I dropped the cinch. Now I'm going to drop the stirrup. That's scary stuff. He's a champ. He did it perfectly. If you recall, when I put the bareback pad on him, he at that time was afraid for me to reach under his belly. I still do it with caution and let him know I'm coming there, but we've gotten past that big fear and I can reach under his belly. So we're going to get him cinched up here, and I'm going to do that nice and slow. He's not used to being cinched much, so you don't want to do it fast. And he's standing quite quietly. He moved one step. If he would have moved a bit more, I'd probably correct him. I'm trying to teach him that when we're tied, even though he's only fake tied, we stand nice and quiet. So I cinch him up just barely snug, but nothing tight, so he can get a feel for that and be comfortable with it.